Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I wish I was trained by a ninja.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Bloodsport, which came out in 1988, with a story by Sheldon Latesh, a screenplay by Christopher Cosby and Mel Friedman, and directed by Newt Arnold. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, Frank Dukes. Dukes has entered the underground fighting tournament, the Kumite. He strives to win the tournament to bring honour to his clan, the Tanaka clan, and prove to everybody that he has what it takes.
So this is a Canon film.
Yeah.
And this is also a film that Canon, when they saw the first draft of the film, went, nah, this is, even for our standards, this is terrible.
Really?
We can't release this.
Wow.
And Van Damme was, Van Damme was not a household name at this point.
No.
He had had some very minor roles in films, but he'd not had, his star breakup role, which is this film.
Yeah, yeah.
And he turned around to Canon and went, let me help edit this film. I know how the fights were filmed.
Yeah.
Let me edit the fight choreography, and then we can re-release it. And so they let Van Damme re-edit the film with them.
Nice.
And then they still weren't too happy with it, so they released the film internationally. They didn't release it in the States, because they were like, no one's going to see this. But the film started to do really well in other countries, and they were like, okay, maybe we will release this. And that is what helped make Van Damme a household name. This was the beginning of his, this put him up there with the 80s action icons.
Yeah.
And I should also say that this film is based on a true story. This is the legendary mixed martial artist Frank Dukes, who holds the world record for the quickest punch and the fastest kick knockouts. Won all these tournaments, won all these medals, was also involved with the CIA and the military. And Frank Dukes, but I think it was also one of the fight choreographers and trainers on this film as well.
Yeah, he trained Van Damme, I think.
But over the years, people have started to investigate this Frank Dukes to find out what really happened, because they couldn't find any evidence for all of these fantastical stories that he was telling everyone, and literally no evidence came up about this martial arts instructor that he had. This background, military career, all of these tournaments which were secret. No one could find out anything about them, and so he is now believed to be an absolute fraud who lied his way into Hollywood.
Well, that's the best way to get into Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah, seems about right.
Man, this is the first time I'd ever seen Bloodsport. I know that is a dishonorable act. I'm a child of the 80s. I should have at least seen it like 5 times. But I'll admit, the first time I ever saw the Van Damme movie was probably Universal Soldier.
That's a good place to start.
And I'd heard about Kickboxer and Bloodsport, and we did Kickboxer before. Really enjoyed it. Van Damme dancing. It's pretty good, Tong Po. Oh my god, So I was ready to watch Bloodsport, and it appeared on Netflix, and I was ready to watch it, and then it disappeared because it run out of the time, and I was so bummed out. So when we got down to sit down for the review, I was all prepped. This is 80s. This is Van Damme. This is Frank Dukes. Now, I'm a big Don the Dragon Wilson fan, and he's got a bit of a beef with Frank Dukes. And it never dawned on me that Frank Dukes in Bloodsport was a real guy.
Right.
So when I went to Wikipedia, I went well deep into Wikipedia, and he did undercover missions for the American government, and obviously they've completely blacklisted him.
Of course.
He was trained in the art of ninjutsu by a ninja teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole film is based on him entering the secret underground tournament, the Kumite, and obviously winning it. And I'm just like, okay, let's do this. And it was such a great journey. Like the whole beginning with the montage, Hong Kong, the fighters prepping. I was sat there, I was 5 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, man, I want to play Street Fighter.
Real bad.
Man, I really want to play Tekken, real bad.
I mean, this film definitely was the inspiration for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
looking at, the wide range of fighters, you could easily see Street Fighter in there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the creators of Mortal Kombat literally said that this film helped inspire the game. So much so that Johnny Cage
Yeah.
was originally supposed to be Van Damme. And the licensing or the dispute or the contracts or whatever, the agreements fell through.
Oh, yeah.
And so they changed him ever so slightly. But Johnny Cage still has Van Damme's like signature split punch. And it's just
Yeah. But we've also got Ray Jackson, played by Donald Gibb, and like he's the fun American, character that you want to pick in the fighting game, but he's also just that guy, who's just going to get kicked in the face a lot. And when we first get introduced to Van Damme, he's an officer in the military, and the captain has called him, or his commander has called him, because they know he's going to the Kumite, and they don't want him to go. And so he properly just ninjas his way past the guard.
I have to say, like, rewatching the film again after some time.
Yes,
the acting here
was yes.
Where's Dukes?
He was at the gym, like you said. He took a shower, I waited, and he disappeared.
What do you mean he disappeared?
1 minute he was there, next he wasn't.
Like, this is 1988 Van Damme. This is, like we said, he has not broken his ground. And should he talk?
Well, I mean, it's not just Van Damme, it's also the extras or the other people he's acting with.
Yeah.
And we end up, he ends up running away to get to the Kumite, but we also end up with the flashback.
Yes, when he goes to see his father.
When he's breaking into the house as a kid.
Oh, God, yes.
And I was just like,
Frank.
the teenage Frank, I was like, you're quite possibly the worst actor in the entire film.
Well, yeah, maybe. They're like, the voice, was it dubbing?
I don't know.
Did they dub it over, or did he actually talk like that?
You're not gonna call the cops?
Not if we make a deal.
What kind of a deal?
But at the same time, we have Roy Chow playing Senzo Tanaka, and Senzo Tanaka being the teacher, and his son, he's just like, right, okay, Frank, my son is going to get bullied at school, so I want you to work with him, and I will train you, because I feel that there's a good spirit inside you.
A warrior spirit.
Yeah, because you didn't steal my sword.
Well, it's because he didn't flinch when he cut the front of his cap off.
Oh, that's that. And so Frank and the son build up this relationship, and the son says, like, one day I'm going to earn my father's respect by fighting in the Kumite.
Someday, I'll fight in the Kumite and make my father proud.
And I'm just like, wow, he knows about the Kumite.
Yeah, I thought this was a closely guarded secret. Everyone knows about it. This is worse kept than Fight Club.
Well, this is the thing as well, because Senzo is training his son to fight in the Kumite, because when his son tragically passes away, Frank goes there and says to Senzo, like, Dad, I want to fight in the Kumite. You must train me. And he beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, is it training or is it torture?
Like, he was doing this to his son. His son was going to get respect from him by fighting in the tournament. Oh, the training sequence. Is it as good as Kickboxer?
No. I still put Kickboxer a peg above this one.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, it's the same musical composer that did both films, but I just think that the music in Kickboxer is that extra little bit better, and the montage is just that extra little bit better. I think they just refined the craft here. This is where it started.
This is where it started.
Yeah.
I mean, the leg sequence. Oh.
Well, yeah.
But
we all know. I mean, we all know now that Van Damme can easily do the splits. But watching him being put up on that pulley system,
Van Damme, like damn.
But we also get, some setup for some payoff later on where he's also being trained to fight blind.
Yes.
And so he can react, like a sensei can. And we get that closing moment where he's serving tea around the table.
Well, isn't it also that he's been trained in the death touch?
Oh yes, yeah. Is it?
The death touch, I've got to say. Oh man, like Frank has gone to see his sensei, and the sensei has said to him, like, are you still going to go into the Kumite? And Frank's like, look, I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do it for the Tanaka clan. You know, I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for the world. Basically, Frank is taking the world on his shoulders. And so when he's traveled to Hong Kong and met up with Ray Jackson, the two of them have kind of bonded because they're both American.
Was they're both playing, is it Karate Champion as well?
Yeah. Oh, that game looks amazing. They should re-release that. And once they enter into the tournament, you know, the guys at the gate, they're just like, look, we're not going to just take your word that you're part of the Tanaka clan. You have to prove it. And so Frank's just like, well, I've got the death touch.
I can do the dim muck.
Yeah.
So he's like, right, pick a brick.
Yeah.
And Jackson's like, what about that top one? He goes to do it, and the judge is like, no, the bottom brick.
Yeah.
And like watching this, like young teenage me watching this for the first time, like when he hits that brick and it explodes out the bottom.
Oh my God! Yes,
that's amazing.
Like just the simple fact, like he has just hit the top brick. The power, the force, the whatever
the energy
has just gone straight down to the bottom brick and demolished it in front of everybody. And the guys at the gate are like, yeah, all right, we'll let you win.
All except Bolo Yeung, who plays Chong Li, and we know he is the film's antagonist. He is the film's villain. But he looks at him and he just says, "Brick, don't hit back." And I was just like, oh. That's a callback to Enter the Dragon, because Bolo was in that with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee has the line when the guy breaks the board, boards don't hit back. And I was just like, oh, that's a really nice little callback.
I was thinking that all the way through. When I was watching this, I was like, you know, Enter the Dragon, this film's got some big, massive callbacks to that. You know, Frank might as well be on an undercover mission for the American government. But it's a bit crazy of why he's there. You know, he's doing it for himself. He's doing it for the Tanaka clan. He's doing it for his brother. You know, you've also got the reporter Janice, you know, who's looking for a way into the secret underground fighting tournament so she can do a story on it. So he wants to do it for her. You know, later on he's going to do it for other people as well, because that's the kind of guy Frank is. He's just doing it for everybody. But the fight sequences are what we're here for. And I love the fact that you've got the guy who plays Tong Po in Kickboxer in this movie, and he fights Chong Li. And the fights are just, like, I was watching really carefully, and I noticed where obviously the actors didn't connect, but in the fluidity and just the music pumping, you know, just the camera work, every now and again you'd get the look between Chong Li and Frank.
Yeah.
You know, like Chong Li's looking at him like, you're next, you know.
Well, that's because Chong Li, you know, he just broke this tournament's record for knockout.
Yes.
And so in Frank Dukes' first match, he demolishes that record by like 2 seconds.
Now, the first fight, what did he do to the guy on the floor? Like, he didn't punch him. He kind of, you know, had him on the floor, and the guy just kind of looked up and then passed out. And then gets up and sneaks around him in the most obvious way possible, that Frank then takes him out, and then it gets declared the quickest time ever. And I'm like, when did the bell go?
It's all good. Because you know what? It gets followed up by a montage of watching all the other combatants fighting.
Yes.
And we get to see the mixed martial arts. We get to see this guy who's kind of moving around on the ground.
Yeah.
We got this E-Honda sumo kind of guy in there. You know, we got the kickboxer in there. It's just like, yeah, there's lots of different martial arts. You know, and yeah, some of the fights, some of the blows don't look like they connect. But it's still the pacing's really good. It's still really edited. I mean, it's like, for American audiences, for us as an audience, we hadn't really been exposed at this time.
Well, the crazy
to the Jackie Chan kind of stuff that was going on in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's the crazy thing, because at this time I would have probably have caught some old school kind of kung fu movies at this age for myself. But when I'd sat down to watch this, I'd recently just watched The Night Comes for Us, which is an incredibly violent, combat-heavy type film. And that movie was beautiful and brutal. This one actually I felt was better, but I felt it was better in the context of this movie. The fact that this guy has entered in this tournament, I know he's going to win. So I know the fights are a bit off, but I'm heavily enjoying it because of the music style. Frank Dukes' his relationship with both Ray and Janice are just so put on and so put over, to the point that Ray might as well just be walking around with a sign that says "I am stupid" written on it, because he in no way has any chance of getting past Frank's Frank's just going to do everything. To the point that Chong Li's killing everything in his path.
Right.
But
I mean, Jackson wants to fight him,
Yes.
and they do get that fight, and he opens up and demolishes Bolo in the opening.
Does he?
But then he showboats.
No,
He's just
totally.
you're just like, no, finish him.
Bolo's not even down. Bolo's not even.
Bolo's looking around like, what are you doing, mate? Like, I'm still fighting you.
I'm still fighting you. You made me bleed a little bit, and I'm like, uh-oh. And the fact as well that Janice as well has seen the violence to this point. She really, really wanted to get into the Kumite, and she really wanted to see it for its beauty and the way that obviously Frank has described it, because Frank knows it's brutal, and the film portrays it in a really brutal way.
Sure, yeah.
But at the same time, there's a beauty to it. So when people start to see Chong Li's aggressiveness constantly, because Chong Li is wanting to fight Frank.
Yeah.
He wants to kill Frank. But they keep them separate until...
Well, the final.
Yeah. Even the tournament leaders. I mean, I love that bit when they first did their introduction. Massively Mortal Kombat inspiring.
Yeah.
But they turned their back on Chong Li.
When he murders that guy in the arena, they turn their back, and Bolo's just like, whatever.
But that's the crazy thing. I was just like...
no respect.
He's got no respect because he's killed this guy. But that was the point of the fight. I mean, it's not to the death.
It's not to the death, no.
Yeah.
It's just, it can happen when two people are fighting,
Yeah.
and they know that they know their martial arts, so they are deadly.
But they have to keep Chong Li as in there because he's the champion.
Yeah.
And the only next person to go up against him is Frank.
Right. But amongst all the fighting, we do have, as you mentioned, the reporter, the love interest.
Yeah.
And we get that moment at the bar where she's trying to sneak in, and we get the other fighters there just like, no, we're going to take you, blonde lady, up to our room. We're going to have our way with you.
Oh, yeah.
And Frank Dukes is like, oh, let's play a game. How about put this coin in your hand, and if I can take that coin before you close your hand, I get the girl. If you close your hand, you got the coin, you get the girl. And she's just like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm a bargaining chip. And the sleight of hand or whatever, and he gets the coin and he gets the girl, and she's like, oh, you can't be fighting, but I want to get into the fights. Oh, but you can't be fighting, but I really want to watch the fights. Cut to the next morning, she's in bed with him.
Yeah.
And there's no nudity in the film. We see Van Damme's butt for a second. But then he's just like, no, you can't come to the Kumite. It's top secret. But the moment he gets to the Kumite, she is dolled up, hair done, dress, makeup.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you get there so fast and so made up?
She's on the arm of this guy as well.
Yeah,
I'm like...
That was fast.
Yeah.
But on top of the love interest story, we've also got Forrest Whitaker and his partner, part of the CIA trying to track Frank down.
Yeah.
They find him in the hotel room, and Jackson pushes them over so he can escape, and we have this extended montage of chasing around Hong Kong.
Was amazing.
Van Damme constantly stops, looks around, toys with them, plays with them, dukes with them, and runs off again.
Were those... they were running along the boats. And
Right.
I'm like... I'm guessing those are real boats.
Yes.
Are
yeah.
those real guys as well? Those guys are sat there having lunch like, oh shit.
Right, what's going on here?
It's
We're making a
Jean-Claude
movie.
Van Damme. It's Forrest Whitaker. What?
But, he managed to get to the other side of the boat. And, it's like a really wide shot. And I was like, I don't know if that's Forrest Whitaker anymore. I think those are stunt actors now.
Yeah.
It also didn't look like they fell in. It looks like they kind of jumped into the water.
Well, I think they're supposed to be the comedy element, isn't it?
Yeah,
Frank's just escaped from them. Which brings the tone of the movie down, I suppose, a bit. But for me, I enjoy it because
it's because
80s.
it goes from campiness to like the seriousness of the death and the blood in the arena to the cheesy lines, the montage pop music, and then the actual film score. Because at the moment when Jackson's hospitalized, he has that sad montage where he's on the bus, Oh,
the bus sad montage.
He sees Chun-Li in the reflection.
Yeah.
Like the devil eyes. I mean, fucking Chong-Li's moment when he kills the guy or when he's fighting, it does the super slow-mo.
Yeah.
Like just his face, it's like, you don't want to come across this guy.
Well, when he was just pounding his arms constantly, getting the crowd to chant his name, I'm like, okay, he just really needs to cool down. So when it comes down to Frank and Chong-Li, coming to the finals of the tournament, everybody is caught up to them at this point. Janice has given her information to the cops, who have come to crack down on the tournament, and the cops given the information to the secret agents, and Forrest Whitaker's turned up, and Frank, disarms them all. And basically it's just like, look, I'll meet you at the airport because I'm fucking Frank Dukes.
Put these on who wants to use
The last warning, Frank.
And he just walks in to face the guy. And, like, I love the manager, the guy with the glasses that have been following Frank and Ray completely around. Like, he should have been in all of Jean-Claude Van Damme's movies. just as an extra background character to jump up and say something. Because, like, when Frank enters into this final, I know where it's going. But I also have, like, 2021 knowledge of where this will go in Frank Duke's life. And I'm thinking, well, they must be able to talk to Janice or Ray Jackson if these people are based on real people, but and when he enters into the final fight against Chong-Li, like, he doesn't want to kill him.
No.
He wants to, obviously, like, he'd already used a death touch on one guy, I think, because he'd smacked that guy in the stomach. Like, did he die?
I don't think he hit him with the death. I think it was just,
The film made it kind of slow down enough that he hit with enough force. I'm like, oh, that guy's intestine.
It's just going
boom. But going up against Chong-Li, Chong-Li knows he can't defeat him, I suppose, because he has to cheat.
Yes, we see this like little capsule getting hidden in his trunks before the fight, and Bolo's getting his ass handed to him left, right, and center, and just in a moment he kind of throws this powdered dust in his face and blinds him, and then it's the reversal, and we watch Van Damme getting his butt handed to him for the next couple of minutes.
Just Van Damme yelling.
Yeah. It's extended. He does it like 3 times. We get the blurry vision, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Oh yeah, I remembered. I trained to fight blind." Forgot about that.
The whole reason I'm here, everything I've done all my life has led to this moment. I've just realised if I close my eyes, I can sense Bolo.
Right. And then it's literally another one-sided match where he just literally flying kick, punch.
But it's really, really well done.
It is, yeah.
It just makes me just fully just get behind Frank Duke's character to the point I'm just like, yes, he's defeated the bad guy. He's won the girl. Everything is good. He saved the day. And then the presentation of the wooden sword.
Right.
Which I did read up that Frank had to sell to save some abandoned orphans.
Oh, of course.
And I was just like, well, okay. He might have.
I believe you.
The fact the film ends with the whole monologue of, like, the text of what Frank Dukes has been up to. if I didn't believe it was a real guy, like, it would play out so well, wouldn't it? The film basically should just say, you know, based on the true events. And it does at the end, but it should have said at the beginning. With this whole part with Frank Dukes at the end, the time, I even wikied the time, man.
Right.
I was just like, fastest punch? Really? No. No. No.
Yeah, it's a complete fabrication, but, you know, at the time, you know, people believed him. You know, he got where he got because of the lies he told. He was a perpetual liar. I've not dug that deep into it. I'm only going, you know,
Yeah.
you know, it's not
Stick
like
with Bloodsport.
I don't want to get into a fight with Frank Dukes anytime soon. You know, he'll still kick my ass.
Yeah.
But like, it's a complete fabrication. Well, only in so much as that there's no evidence to back up everything that he said.
Yes.
But,
Bloodsport. We've got Bloodsport.
It still works for a very entertaining movie, though.
Oh, totally.
Well, with that being said, Ian, what were your favourite moments from the film?
Oh man, I had so many, like, the fight sequences and montages are just a given. The music with Kumite, I was singing that all day. It was stuck in my head. Young Frank's voice, I was in stitches. Like, somebody sat there and said, right, okay, we need him to sound young, but we need him to sound gruff, like Van Damme. But Van Damme's got an accent, so we need him to sound young, gruff, and with an accent. And it doesn't work. The training with Senzo, you know, getting ready for the Kumite, I did get a little bit confused because because he picks up the photo and he starts having the flashback of him being a kid. And then I'm thinking, oh shit, he's going to train for the Kumite now? It's like in 2 days.
Right.
How long does he do this? But then it turns out he's been doing it for like 10 years before he joined the military, you know, after the death of the son. So I was like, okay, there's a whole backstory here for the family. The introduction to the Kumite with the 3 people stood at the top, you know, this sandy, circular tournament floor, everybody, so Mortal Kombat, so Street Fighter, any fighting tournament thing ever I'm looking at, and I'm just like, yeah, there's tradition here, and possibly some blood on the mat.
Oh, of course.
All of the fight sequences, all of the musical montages, yeah, the bus montage.
Of course. Yeah, you pretty much nailed it right there.
It was a really good film.
I mean, yeah, I wrote it down straight away because it was just like the flashback stuff. I mean, the sequence with him in the shower with the other guard, the acting there was terrible. The flashback sequence, the acting there was terrible. You know, and the acting, I will say, does get better as the film goes on. But that first hurdle... There was some really ropey acting. Yeah, as you said, all of the fight scenes were really well done.
Yeah.
Really well put together. All the montages are excellent. The music choices were great. But I also really liked how funny the film is. How kind of quotable the film is. It's the moment when Jackson walks into the hotel room before the first Kumite and Van Damme's doing the splits. And he looks at him and he says, "That hurts me just looking at it."
Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah. There's another... great moment in the film where somebody's talking to Jackson and he says, "I hear you can get killed at that Kumite," and he looks at him and says, "Only if you fuck up."
Yes.
You know, there's so many great moments, and I thought the final fight was pretty good as well. But the Hearts on Fire Kumite song,
Yes.
brilliant. Well, Ian, do you recommend Bloodsport?
I definitely do. I mean, if you ever just want to get some friends together and play some fighting games, throw Bloodsport on in the background for a laugh. It's a laugh. You know, it's fun. I can see why it just shot Jean-Claude Van Damme into the stratosphere. This and Kickboxer had always been on my list since I was a kid to just double watch them, you know, and now I've got my way. I'm like, yes, Jean-Claude Van Damme. You can see, you know, you can see why he wasn't called forward as the main guy after, because he could be stereotyped. You know, they just wanted him for the kicks and stuff. And this movie just shows it. The chair sequences, the splits. I believe Frank Dukes was in an underground Kumite fighting tournament? Not really. You know, does it make a good film? Yes. Does Frank Dukes get to say that Jean-Claude Van Damme played him in a movie? Yes. So on all that notes, yes.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to be recommending Bloodsport. I think it's one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's best movies, along with, for me, Kickboxer and Universal Soldier.
Nice.
He might not be the best actor,
Yeah.
but he really looks the part, and the filmmakers helped Van Damme become the iconic, muscle-bound American action hero along the likes of Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a really simple narrative, easy to follow story with decent fights, cheesy training and martial arts montages, an over-the-top villain, chase scenes around Hong Kong, and a shoehorned love interest.
Yeah.
It's all the basic elements, but they come together really well, as the fights are exciting, the locations and cinematography is great, mixed with perfect 80s music and style. The acting in part ranges from terrible to serviceable, but Bolo Yeung, for me, he was great as the main antagonist and really memorable in the role. I mean, so despite all the tropes and cliches, this is still highly entertaining, easily rewatchable, and a Van Damme classic.
Yes.
Watch this for the mixed martial arts, the montages, and for the film that helped inspire Mortal Kombat and made Van Damme a household name. In the secret contest where the world's greatest warriors fight in a battle to the death. Bloodsport.
Kumite, kumite, kumite.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Kumite.